Jimmy Hoffa was born in Indiana on February 14, 1913. At the age of 7 years old, his father died from lung disease, and his mother moved his family to Detroit in 1924. Hoffa went to school until he was 14 years old and then dropped out to help support his family. He began working a full-time manual labor job. Hoffa was later hired by the Teamsters as an organizer after he was recognized for organizing a strike at a warehouse. The Teamsters is a large American union of workers ranging from freight drivers to warehouse workers. It encompasses workers from nearly every occupation, public and private, and professional and non-professional. He soon became high up and popular within the Teamsters and was their most recognizable public face and an advocate for American trade unionism in America.
Jimmy Hoffa and the mob worked side by side to benefit one another until they began having conflicts and Jimmy Hoffa disappeared as a result of it.
On March 4, 1964, Jimmy Hoffa was convicted of attempted bribery of a grand juror. He was sentenced to 8 years in prison. Hoffa was convicted in a second trial on July 26 of 1964 on 1 count of conspiracy and 3 counts of mail-in wire fraud for an improper use of the Teamsters Pension Fund, and he was sentenced to an additional 5 years in prison. When Jimmy Hoffa entered prison, Frank Fitzsimmons was named the acting president of the union and Hoffa's successor. Hoffa attempted to run the union from prison through Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons worked with Nixon to get Hoffa pardoned and out of prison, but he played a role in making sure that Hoffa was banned from the union until 1980. Fitzsimmons wanted to keep control of the Teamsters.
Russell Buffalino was a mob leader from Pennsylvania, and Frank Sheeran was a mob hitman. Buffalino hired Sheeran to kill Jimmy Hoffa.
Jimmy Hoffa went to a local restaurant and was waiting outside for a car to pick him up that had Buffalino and the Irishman in it. Jimmy Hoffa was shot and killed twice by the Irishman. The Irishman drove the body to the funeral home run by the mob to get his body cremated to make sure there was no evidence that he was still alive.
The mob had wanted to kill Hoffa because they had found out that Hoffa acquired information that they had entered a collusion with President Nixon. President Nixon had allowed Hoffa to get out of prison because he wanted to get on the good side of the working class. The mob wanted to get Hoffa out and gain control of the union so that he had no control over the Teamsters anymore. Hoffa had found out that the mob had sent nearly $1 million to Nixon and was willing to go public with the information.
The Irishman confesses to killing Jimmy Hoffa on his deathbed after lying in the first interview saying he had no idea what happened to him. He felt threatened by Buffalino because Buffalino was saying that if he didn't kill Hoffa, he would have to kill him. He felt guilty because Hoffa was his friend.
Despite the Irishman's confession, police were not able to charge him with any crime. They went to the abandoned house that the Irishman instructed them to go to, and they did not find any substantial evidence. They were not able to convict Buffalino, the mob, or the Irishman with any crime because there was no evidence to support it. When was the last time you saw Hoffa?
I don't know, probably a couple weeks ago.
Do you know who he was with?
No idea.
Is it a possibility he could be dead?
It's always a possibility, but I'm not sure.
Take care of Hoffa?
I can't, that's my boy.
I'm gonna take care of you then.
we going?
Don't worry about it. We're going to a meeting.
Are we almost here yet?
Yeah, we're pulling up right now.
What are we doing here?
Okay. We need you to cremate this body for us.
I think I know a guy. I shot and killed Jimmy Hoffa because Russell Buffalino told me it was Hoffa or me, and I had no other choice.